maybe this seems like a dumb question.
What happens when you flush the toilet? Where does it go?
To the East River.
Do you have any idea?
I'm pretty sure it just goes through the pipes and goes to the sea.
Under the streets of New York City, there are 7,400 miles of sewer pipes.
You know how much wastewater is processed every day in gallons?
Maybe 500,000 gallons?
2 million.
80 million gallons.
Every day, the city treats 1.3 billion gallons of wastewater.
It's 1.3 billion.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, 1.3 billion. Wow. Every day.
Every day.
The scale of the system is almost impossible to even process. But what's most fascinating is that it's hidden in plain sight. How does a system that's so massive and so old work so flawlessly that we never even think about it? This is a story about the people behind the New York City sewer system.
Hello?
Hey, Devin, my name's Jack. I got your response on Craigslist looking for a plumber.
Yeah, I'll be available all day Monday.
All day Monday. Oh, amazing.
Testing. Hello. My name is Mike Romero. I've been a plumber for, you do the math, since 1987. Sewer drain cleaning, new construction, residential, commercial, digging up water mains, freezing them. I mean, you name it. To me, it's been one big adventure. When you flush one of these, it looks like there's a pump in there. No, the waste lines aren't pressurized. It's just gravity. It's when you have the volume of water that you create the siphonic action. See that manhole cover over there?
Yeah.
That probably says New York City Sewer. And if you look 50 feet away, you'll see another manhole cover pretty much in line with that. The pipe for your building, poof, pops through. This pipe will be one size, and because it picks up all these houses, maybe over there somewhere, it'll go into a bigger size.
So underneath the streets, there's a series of sewers. But in order to figure out where the sewers go, we went to the archives.
My name is Ian Fowler. I'm the creator of Maps, History, and Government Information for the New York Public Library. This map was created in 1857. We get fresh water into the city in 1842. This is largely to relieve the epidemics of cholera, yellow fever, and typhus. We get fresh drinking water, and then we start to get sewerage. Between 1849, when sewerage begins, and 1855, the majority of the city actually has sewers, which is a monumental feat. Each street that has a dark line, those are all the original sewers.
This is our street, and so it would have gone straight down 3rd and dumped in to the East River.
Now to go further to figure out what happens next, who do we have to talk to?
Man, if you get a gem of a DEP guy to want to spend some time with you.
DEP, short for Department of Environmental Protection, is the agency that manages both the city's drinking water and sewer system. They're probably the most important agency in the city that no one ever talks about.
Hi, my name's Stephen Cabarro, and I'm the plant chief of Newtown Creek Wastewater Resource Recovery Facility, the largest of all 14 wastewater resource recovery facilities for the city of New York.
By the way, Stephen won a literal award for public service. There are 14 sewage treatment plants around the city. Newtown Creek is not only the biggest and most badass of all 14, it's also the one that treats the wastewater in our office. But what happens when it gets to the plant?
So what you're seeing right now, that's raw sewage coming in. That is as raw as it gets. So what happens when the water makes its way through this channel, it's going to come to our primary bar streams. That's where we have the large rakes that remove any large debris, whether it's bottles, whether it's leaves, tree branches, a bicycle frame came in once. One of the main things that's making its way in lately and has been very harmful to our equipment are sanitary wipes. A 5-cent piece of wipe ends up costing us possibly up to $25,000 in repairs.
So the first step of the process is screening things out of the waste stream. The next step is separating the water and the fecal matter. Fecal matter is such a weird phrase. Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Rit Agarwal. I'm the Commissioner of the Department of Environmental Protection of New York City. So, when you flush a toilet in New York City, the sewer line will bring it into one of our 14 wastewater treatment plants around New York City. And of course, the sewer's been going downhill, so we've got to pump it up. The solids will settle to the bottom, oil will be skimmed off the top. The wastewater will be reprocessed. That wastewater will then spend time in a aeration facility where you've got bugs, basically bacteria like you might have in a swamp or even in your stomach, that are going to eat the organic material that's in there. And then the solids get digested.
So we have the largest digesters in New York City. They hold about 3 million gallons apiece. And we have 8 of them. Inside this digester is stimulating your stomach, where we heat it to about 98 degrees. And what ends up happening, it starts to molecularly break down the organics, and it produces methane for us.
It produces methane that at many of our plants we either reuse or we are working to be able to inject into the gas grid. And then the solids that finally remain, we still have a portion of that gets landfilled, but we're working to get that number to zero, and an increasing amount of it gets beneficially used either as compost or as clean cover for landfills and things like that.
What's left over after the digester process is a material called sludge that gets sent out on barges and is used as either fertilizer or landfill. So the whole process is facilitating something that might already happen in nature.
100%. You know, one of the more amazing things that I think very few people appreciate is this is not a chemical facility. It's not a mechanical facility. It's a biological facility. Everything we do to treat sewage is just accelerating and controlling what would happen if a bear pooped in the woods.
So for the last and perhaps most amazing part of this process, what happens to the water after all the waste is removed?
It's going to make its way into our disinfection process. We use the chemical sodium hypochlorite, so that's basically bleach. Then, depending on how much chlorine there is, we're going to deactivate that with another chemical called sodium bisulfite to neutralize it. This way, it's compatible with the water in the East River. We're not affecting any of the marine life. By the time it reaches the outfall, it's clear as day.
This is the end of the road.
This is the end of the road.
And then eventually it evaporates, and then it comes down in rain, and then it goes back in the reservoir, and then it comes back down, and we do it all again.
Absolutely. Reduce, reuse, recycle. And we want to make a circular economy and make sure that the product life is good. But it all starts with you using the restroom.
So there you have it. Every time you flush the toilet, it sets up a chain of events that involves thousands of miles of pipes, billions of gallons of water, and hundreds of hardworking New Yorkers who keep the city smelling like roses.